It's time for the type of energy only Darren McCarty and Neil Rule can give. It's time for Big D Energy, live on Woodward Sports. Join four-time Stanley Cup champion and legendary badass Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., as they give their takes on all things Detroit sports. The number one midday show in Detroit is on. Welcome to Big D Energy.
Yo, what's going on? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Big D Energy, Big D. Thank you, Spenmo Rocks, KG, D-Mac here, and in for Neil Rule. He's not here today, but we have the one, the only, Uncle Terry Foster.
I haven't seen you in a while.
T-Fuss, I haven't seen you in a while, too. Tell me what's good, bro, because you said, first thing I said, and always is what's important is how's your health and stuff like this, but you look great.
Good. I just had my physical.
You did?
Earlier this week.
What's it looking like?
Doctor says near perfect.
Hey, beautiful.
And so what do you have to say to everybody out there maybe who's followed your health journey over the past? And
I have learned a valuable lesson of going to the doctor. They've found out stuff that's wrong with me, but they've caught it like real quick. Like I had kidney failure, but they said they caught it right as it was beginning. Now in this last physical, they said my kidney is normal.
That's beautiful.
That's
Kidneys are normal, whatever you want to call it.
That's so what would you say, Terry? Because like, and obviously you had the stroke, but it puts you on sort of you make the joke all the time that you're married to Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci is on my ass all the time.
Who's Terry's wife, who only wants the best. So
right.
What would you say? You went in like after your 50s, like you're saying, like we're looking here, KG, spending stuff like that. Just saying to the young men and women out there, stay on top of your
It's
health.
cliche, but just go to the doctor. Now, as fellas, we don't want to hear what's going on inside our bodies.
Yeah,
I've learned, yes,
fact.
you do. You want to know because if you go to the doctor regularly, they will catch it where it's just like a little bit of a bug, is the way I put it. And so what they're going to do is say, hey, man, you got this. Here's a pill to take. Now, if you don't go to the doctor and they find something and it's been in your body for 3 or 4 years, they might say, okay, you need surgery or let's put you on a respirator or something like that. So I've learned, you want to go in there, talk to them, because they usually catch stuff really early, with blood work and all kinds of stuff. So that's my
Take it
go
from
to the doctor.
Take it from Uncle Terry himself, right? Yeah. Exactly. Is that get ahead?
Well, I
of
don't
it.
want to bore everyone because I was a little disturbed by something you said today.
What did I say?
You were talking about let's go shopping at Northland. I'm like, bro, where you been?
No. I did not say that. I did not say that. I said, Uncle Terry, it is past Halloween. We're into November. Is it not Black Santa season? And then I said, maybe KG is old enough that was around when Northland was around.
Absolutely.
Maybe KG went to Northland back in the day.
Used to love
I did
Northland.
not say let's make dinner reservations
I'm
or lunch
saying.
reservations. I think maybe next time into the doctors, you have them clean out your ears.
You know who saw Black Santa last week?
You did?
No.
Oh.
Neil Rule did.
Neil did.
That's a fact.
Neil
There
saw
he
it.
is.
Oh,
There
look
he
at
is.
that!
Right there.
It's officially the season.
Yep.
It's officially the season.
He's a
the
day late.
season starts in October now.
He's a day
Guys,
late and a dollar short.
You know
like
you know what
usual.
makes me proud of Neil? To
What?
get that picture, it means he had to be hanging out in the hood.
That's a fact.
They don't have Black Santa's not in the hood?
No.
Okay.
Maybe he was in the yak. You know he good in the yak.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
There
or
it
he
is.
got one of his boys to take the photo.
Kenny knows where he wasn't.
Right.
Kenny's got his let me see. He wasn't.
Yeah,
Terry,
I'd
he
hate
wasn't.
to.
He wasn't East 7 Mile.
Right.
I've never seen Black Santa in the Burbs.
I'd hate to take
Yeah.
some of the street cred away from Neil, but JB did take that picture.
Oh, so somebody else took the photo.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
so he
JB.
tried to take credit for it.
Damn, Neil. Neil, the delegation is not gonna like this,
Sorry,
man.
Neil. Yeah. Stolen valor.
I got to report back. I got to report
Wait, yo, are y'all trying to say Neil's a liar?
No,
Or he just stretches the truth?
yeah.
There's normally Black Santa.
I got a picture of Black Santa and Neil. Oh, look who I ran into. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, Neil be taking credit.
Well, somebody else took the picture. I got to talk to him. That's your boy.
Hey, anybody else though? I'd like to know where. I wouldn't want a Christmas tree in here, but if like we had a Black Santa and put presents under whatever like that.
Yeah, they normally have them at there's a CVS by my house at like 9 and Ryan that would have them.
That checks out.
They would always have the Black Santas over there.
Would you put a Black Santa up in your house?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Just Black Santa's for
100%.
sale, huh?
I think it's cool
No,
as shit.
we
They just
got
got
a
us
little
for
Black
sale,
Santa
huh?
this tall.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about the real Black Santa, man.
My dad has some specialized Santas because he was a mailman for 30 years. He's got all these mailman Santas. They're all delivering the mail. He always puts them up. He's got like 10 of them.
That's dope.
Well, I'm supposed to come back during the holidays. We want to talk about Black Santa.
I love it. Yeah, so stick around too. Terry's, I'm sure one of the ones is with Terry's top 5 Black Santa moments.
Yeah.
And that would be it.
And I think I've only had 5 Black Santa moments, so that would be
That's
everyone's
a
gonna be
perfect
my
list.
top 5.
Perfect list.
That it is. Always a great topic of conversation here, but let's, we got some sports things going on. Obviously, last night, Detroit sports teams went 1-1. Pistons lost a tough one.
That was tough.
At the buzzer in Charlotte by 1 point. Little tippity drill at the end.
Everything right until the end.
And what? Let maybe like start a little bit on there to like taking in the game. What have you? We haven't talked about this though. I mentioned and I was at opening day, and I'm watching this team. It's a different beast on the floor, and you can tell that like the coaching. What I mean is the effort, right? It seems like they play hard, but there's a lot of immaturity in there, and they're still trying to figure it out. But the one thing, Terry, is that like, and I was talking to Kool-Aid about this between shows, was the fact is that there's a Pistons game on. I'm going to dial in. Like, I'm going to tune it in. Like, I got something going on or whatever, but I got to make sure I tune in the Pistons and stuff like that. And I I thought you'd appreciate this. So I've officially got to get my Ronald Holland Jr. jersey. I just love the kid, man. I off the bat, and I know, Terry, it's on brand for me and stuff like this, but I like what I see in this team, and maybe it's just the fact that I see progress they're going in a direction instead of what we saw last year.
You know, last year you just saw a bunch of dudes playing basketball.
Yep.
There was no rhyme, no reason. And I think, I've always said this about the NBA. It's the players' league, and coaching doesn't mean much. I'm going to alter that a little bit. I think coaching does mean a lot for this team.
Yes.
Maybe in the NBA in general, no. But you've got a guy in Bickerstaff who's engaged. Mm-hmm. He wants to be here. He wants to coach his team. He wants to know these players a little bit better.
Well, that's a big difference, right?
And that what we
between
found out
the last
with,
coach
with
and this
the Lions,
coach.
I mean, let's look at the Lions. The Lions have a coach. Dan Campbell may not be a great X's and O's coach, but he will motivate the fuck out of everybody.
But Dan Campbell does not have to be a great X's and O coach when he has people in position like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, who are X's and O's guys. Like, you see the flow of coach.
Right.
Dude, managing. What do we see is a great job. And like, what are the Lions? 27-9 since the abysmal start, and whatever else. And to me, Terry, is they've just worked. The one thing you can't take away from them is they've worked their way out of it. So, in saying that, is that what you're seeing the beginning of here with the Pistons and Bickerstaff? Is because he's definitely engaged. I mean, Monty Williams is here for the dollar. Yeah. Right? I mean,
and his heart wasn't in it. It just wasn't.
Right, exactly. And now this guy and his staff and everybody here from the top, want to make this team better, and the effort. And it always starts, doesn't it? Always start with the best defense with the effort.
But I like to go a step further in belief. You have to believe in your coach. One thing coach can't do with players is bullshit them or lie to them. And I think Bickerstaff is telling them the right things. He is leading them in the correct way. Monte, he didn't lie to them every day, but they knew it was a lie because he was here for the money. That is a lie right there. And you can always say, no, I'm here, I want to win, I want to win a championship. No, he wasn't here to win a championship. Yeah. He was here to get paid.
He used to lie about his feelings on Jaden Ivey, too. because that shit last year, him stunning Jaden Ivey's growth. We see what Jaden Ivey's doing so far this year. I know it's early, but he looks like a completely different player from the Monty.
What's your take on Jaden Ivey? Because it's something that obviously the talent was always in there. Was it the coaches? Is it something that we need to see this player get unlocked? And
all right, let me put it to you this way: if you're telling Jaden Ivey, I can't tell the difference between you and Killian Hayes, you got a problem there.
That's a fact.
And Jaden Ivey, for all his talent, he's in the back of his mind, he's got to be saying, "Damn, I haven't differentiated myself from this dude over here."
And let's be real about it. He knew he was better than Killian Hayes. I mean, as a player, you sit there and you know that you're better than somebody, but you're not getting the chance to prove that. That's got to suck.
That's so frustrating as a professional and whatever else. So the fact is that these guys are being put in a position not only, and that's when you go back to the coaching, is he's putting this self-confidence in this group too, slowly but surely, that they deserve.
At least with Jaden Ivey.
Right. Well,
Jaden Ivey is like, he's walking around like, I'm the man. Like, he's taking the ball to the cup all the time. He's not worried about getting hit. He's not worried about being taken out of games and stuff, because he knows he's got an investment now.
Yeah.
This coaching staff is putting their investment in Jaden Ivey. They believe in him. And you can talk all you want about professional athletes. Oh, I've got talent. I can do this, and I can dunk on you. I can do whatever I want to you. But these guys, a lot of times, are fragile. If the head coach or assistant coach or somebody doesn't believe in you, that's going to affect your game. Now, Jaden Ivey, he's got a coach who believes in him, is going to play with him, and playing him and Cade together, and he's figuring out how to play with Cade Cunningham. Because what did we hear last year? Well, damn, can Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham play together?
Yeah.
Of course they can, if you've got the right structure to put them in.
Well, Spenny broke it down in the win the other night at home against the Lakers. He said it was the best fourth quarter coached in the past 10 years, just the way they rested both Ivey and Cade, and then had him come back in at the same time and had Cade, on LeBron and stuff like that. So those are the things that we're looking to see, right? Like, looking to put your guys in the right possible positions. But that's what you need your star players to do, is to be your star players down the stretch.
That's true, because you have starters and you have finishers, and you want to make sure your best players either start or have that energy to finish a game.
So you've out of anybody that I know, have seen more Pistons basketball and stuff. Or like, what is it? Where's this team at? What do they need to do better? Is it just something where it's more younger mistakes and it's more trial by fire that they get to get into it, or is it just that the top of the teams are completely overmatching them and it's a talent deficiency, or they're going to get there?
I see a difference now. Last year, teams just overpowered them and said, you don't belong on the same floor with us. Now teams, they still might beat them, but it's like, okay, we got to figure out what to do with these dudes this year. And a lot, more times than not, they're going to figure that out and they'll beat the Pistons. So it's a different level of energy that other teams are going to have to use to beat this team. Because I've always thought that the Pistons had talent on their team, even when they were bad.
Yeah, they were
but
not 14
they
wins.
just weren't.
They were better than that.
My whole thing is, but they're not playing together. This dude's doing this thing. I'm over here smoking a cigarette in the, in the corner doing my thing. Call me when you need me. Now you see more passing, and when you do that, you get more open shots.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening with these guys. And they're playing a little defense now. Not great, but
it's better than what we saw. Way better than what we saw.
Mediocre defense as opposed to no defense at all? That's the difference right there. And what I suspect is going to happen is they're going to get more confidence. They will get more time together, and this team is going to be, I'm not going to say good, but at the end they're going to be a decent team that you're going to have to deal with.
Here's one thing. I had a bunch of questions brought up, but the big one is you've been around championship teams. You've been around the teams with, that have gelled. Does this team have, like what you're talking about, where they starting to play for each other and figure out a way to combine? Do they have, I guess, that culture in the locker room, do you think?
Are you talking for this year?
Do they have something that they can build on?
They have something they can build on. They don't have that culture yet.
Right.
It takes a while to build that culture. It just doesn't happen overnight, and you just can't say, "Oh, let's go out to dinner a couple times," and that culture happens. But when you start doing things like that, that helps. But it takes years because when you look at the NBA, you got some really established teams that had that culture, like the Boston Celtics. Right. Let's compare them. It's going to take a long time for them to get to that level.
Yeah.
OKC and teams like that. It's going to take a while. The other thing, Minnesota, the Timberwolves are not a great team, but as far as culture, they're head and shoulders ahead of the Pistons.
Yeah. In the East, the Miami Heat are like that.
Yeah,
they're
Miami,
not necessarily the best team, but their culture.
And what you have there, you have Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Some nights, Jimmy Butler's, all right, we're not losing tonight.
Yeah.
I'm either going to do it or you're going to do it. So I don't think the Pistons have that alpha male. I don't think Cade Cunningham is that alpha male where he's going to say, okay, all right, Muggs, we're doing this shit tonight. You follow me. Let's do this. And then if somebody's like hesitant, you might smack him across the face or something like. Well, not literally smack him, but get Terry, tough on him.
Terry literally might smack him in the locker room if your culture is that tight. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
a lot of right. There's governing the locker room is governed in different ways, and that would be if he smacked him, it'd be behind the scenes, right? As a culture thing. If he smacks him in front of the cameras and stuff like that, then that's a bigger issue.
Let's put this way. Okay, let's stop the smacking. How about this? You don't like your leader all the time.
No, or at all.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Anyways, thank you for that, T-Foss. Let me tell you about Salvation Army. Have you ever thought about volunteering but don't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registerring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at the physical Red Kettle site or participate with a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers sign up and begin fundraising right now. Our traditional bell ringers begin this Friday, November 7th, runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sunday. So to volunteer, sign up today, register to ring.com.
And let me tell you about Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. You can get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first one doesn't hit. $25 to $1,000. Just make sure you use code word Woodward 1000, and if your first bet doesn't hit, you get your money back. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy and Thursdays on Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Welcome back, Big D Energy here on a Thursday. D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, and KG. Spen, Mo, Rax, all of you here in the chat. Get your chats in. Got the computer up now. I'll try to stay with it and stuff like this. Let's see.
I got a question for you,
all I
big
know
man.
is Crazy Clown, you are crazy. What?
Boom Moose, I got a question for you.
I got answers, Terry.
Okay. Lions are 7-1 right now, right?
Lions are 7-1.
They look like a team that cannot lose.
They
Now,
do.
the most optimistic Lion fans said that they would finish 14-3. I want you to look at the remaining schedule. Pick out 2 losses for me.
Oh.
So it starts right there, November 10th, for the Texans.
Oh, that's tough.
Where do they lose?
I
2
think
games.
The first thing that came to my mind, right, is because when you have to, get over hurdles or things, that you have to look at Thanksgiving. You have to look at Green Bay at home on Thanksgiving. Why? What happened last year? That was supposed to be the party, and they ruined it for us. Now, what do we know about this team? That's going to uber focus the coach, right? He doesn't. He takes receipts. He's big on streaks and ending them and starting them and continuing them and all that stuff, right? So I'm sure that they're going to be focused. I don't think they're going to lose that game. What game could?
It's so hard, man.
Buffalo,
I mean,
but that's at home.
It is.
I
at
mean,
home.
is Tampa have the receivers back?
Oh, we already played Tampa.
Already played them.
Yeah,
Tampa's
it goes
done.
November
Or San
10th.
Fran?
Oh, San
San-
Francisco.
Well, here's the
Does
thing.
Sam-
Here's the thing about the San Fran game. It could be a meaningless game
Yeah,
at the end
it
of the year.
could, yeah.
So that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Maybe San Fran gets their act together.
I got to think, Terry, to
C-Mac
your
coming
point
back.
right there, we're going to put ourselves in a position when we're talking about this, and this is realistic talk, is that we will, coming into the last couple games of the year, maybe it's not the San Fran game, but it's going to be one of those last 2 games that we would lose because of resting guys or guys that you're getting ready for the playoffs. I don't know if that's what the focal point will be, but I firmly believe you're going to lose at the end because you're going to dictate. It's almost like the last touchdown
Right.
that Green Bay scored. It didn't mean anything. Made the game 24-14 if you look at it and go, oh, okay, must have been a good game, where it wasn't. So no, they could run the table. I wonder what the odds are for them to run the table.
Gotta be pretty good.
Caesar Sportsbook,
But you got to pick out another one. San Fran could be a loss because it could be a meaningless game. And Dan Campbell has a history of, I don't want to call it pampering players, but he wants to make sure that everybody's healthy as possible. If you're going to get hurt, it's going to have to be in a combat situation that's helping the team towards a championship. Because that's why, I mean, a lot of times people panic on Wednesdays, say, oh, look at all these players who are held out, they're injured. I think a lot of it has to do with Dan Campbell saying, okay, we've chilled out on Monday. We had Tuesday off. Wednesday we're coming back, but I'm not going to play guys who have low nagging injuries. I'm just going to let them roll Thursday, Friday, rest them on Saturday again, and then go Sunday.
you bring up a good point. Spenny, is any of those games a Thursday game?
Besides
short? Do
Thanksgiving,
we have a
I don't
short
think so.
week?
I don't think so.
We don't have any more Monday night games. We got this Sunday.
We might
night,
have another Sunday night game. I think.
Sunday night game. So
Maybe that Bills game is a Sunday night. I can't
that
remember.
okay, the Bills.
Let me see.
Maybe I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but
Just out of, you said I got to pick another game.
Yeah, you got to pick us.
So the Bills game, and then
But the only thing about the Bills game, because I would agree that's maybe one that they could lose, but it's at home. And the last time we faced the Bills here was Thanksgiving, I think 2 years ago, and they beat us.
Can everybody call timeout here?
Packers?
Wait.
Best
Just call
believe-
timeout and just realize what conversation we're having right now. We're having a conversation of try your hardest to pick a loss.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With
It's
the
like-
Detroit, are you Terry? What world am I in
they
right
could
now,
legitimately go 15-1. Like it's
That's true.
crazy.
bro?
But-
Like we're having this argument of how can we not like lose and be like legitimate to. I'm digging in to see how we would lose, other than some catastrophic injuries and big players going down and stuff like that. With the way everything is at this point,
But a lot of times teams lose their focus. Philadelphia Eagles last year lost their focus. Something happened in that
They
locker
had a little
room.
more than focus.
That's their locker room, and that they don't have the coach that we have, and that there's dysfunction over there. And I know that they have like pedigree for whatever else, but there's like their coach isn't our coach. I think our coach, like this week, are you worried about focus? Absolutely not. It's about impressing.
He's not going to let it happen.
No, not going to let it happen, especially with the new kid coming into town. And the players aren't going to let it happen because when you got a new kid, it's like adding a new kid in your classroom.
You want to show him that we're real.
This is what we're all about, and this is why you're here, stuff like this. That hasn't crossed my. I know what you're saying, Terry, about is there a letdown, but I don't think this team lets each other get there. I think they're just task at hand, and music's playing during the week, and they're prepping to go in, and it's
that's true. But let me quote the great philosopher Mark Aguirre, who was a former Piston player.
Yeah.
He always used to say this: in pro sports, you always spit out a bad one.
Yeah.
In other words, a bad game. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know why it's happening. You know it's happening during the game, and you can't get out of that rut. It just overwhelms you.
100% facts.
So he can't. He could never explain why it happened. It just.
No, you can't because
Just
you look.
spit out a bad one.
I understand that. You could have the best, and you could be prepared the most, and think you're gonna have the best game, and then in my case, the puck doesn't bounce your way or stuff like that. So there is that one in there, right? But I don't know. There's something about this team. Like, I don't think they're gonna cost themselves.
No.
Right? Remember what we used to talk about? Is that okay? With Dan Campbell and his progress, and it was like coaching and timeouts and challenges and this and penalties, and how many times would we always say it, pre-snap penalties. Like these are things that they happen now, but we don't focus on because
they
we
don't
go out and
cost
play
us.
the game.
Yeah.
And when a team runs a couple plays early or makes a completion, the old fans in us might think, "Oh, here it goes again." But the new Lions go, "This ain't the old Lions. We're good. We're gonna figure it out.
Right.
Okay, tighten up. Give them threes." The thing that this team does, right, is what this league is: 7-point league, not a 3-point league. They cash in their chips when they get down there. That's the difference. And the effectiveness. And I don't think that's changing because they got to feed so many guys. Correct. So every week it's a different meal.
No, and I think Dan Campbell's like 3 points doesn't mean anything.
No, he didn't.
We scored a touchdown, or we just roll with nothing.
Well, is that not more apparent than fourth and goal from the 5? And I know that great
true.
play call to get it to the 2.5 to make it like extra. But there was no, we're not going for it. And repercussions are ID. Then you're gonna have to tighten up.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I do, and I was at that time. I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I think Dan Campbell looked like, okay, I've got the quarterback. It's going to be a quick throw with a quarterback who could be MVP of the league, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, one-on-one, who nobody in the league can cover.
Yep.
I'm going to go for
How
it.
about that double move, and then the ball's in the air before he even makes his break. He knows it's going to be there. He tippy-toe taps, and then he does the perfect headstand.
It was beautiful.
God damn, Kenny.
Yeah.
I never wanted to do a headstand more in my life. I break my gosh darn neck.
Dude,
Right.
I have
I
never
don't know if
even
you wanna
thought
do that
about
on
doing
ice.
this headstand, let alone do one.
Dude, and then it just did that the way the tee at the bat. That is just...
Yeah.
I was at a Halloween party a couple weeks ago, and a couple very attractive young ladies came out to ask me and my
Okay,
friends
spin.
when we were by the campfire if anybody could do a cartwheel. So I had to step up, show them business. I got a good cartwheel. And
You did one?
I haven't been hitting arms, chest, and shoulders.
You can
this
still do a
often.
cartwheel?
Oh yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
shout out
Spenny's got that. Spenny's got that Penny Sewell athletic ability. He's just a
Sneaky athletic.
Just
an
an athlete. Right?
Yeah.
Football field, in the water, out of the water,
Yeah.
wherever you want to go. But the one thing that Spenny does know is that when it's time to get the main checked out and done, where to go, right, Spenny?
Oh, of course.
Walk right over there. You can too, or anywhere else. Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, enjoy a $20 haircut special, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of the talented stylists. Take advantage of the $20 haircut special. Just scan the QR code and get the coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Since 1996, Feldman Chevrolet has brought you the best car buying experience you could think of. It's called the Feldman Automotive. Make sure you go check it out. We're in Feldman of Novi every other week, so come down there and hang out with us. Get a car on your way out. It's where Neil got his EV. It's where anybody can get any car they want. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Welcome back to Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster in here. KG, Spenmo, Rax, just chopping it up about the Lions. And you know, the reality statement is, when are we going to lose? Where's this record? Terry Foster brought the fact up that question. Even the most positive Lion fan preseason had this team at 14-3. They're at 7-1 now. When are they going to lose? Terry Foster asked this question. We're trying to figure out when they are going to lose. And
has anyone figured that out yet?
What's that?
Has anyone figured that out yet?
I don't know.
My point about the Bills game was that, okay, we lost to them 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. I believe that was the game Von Miller had tore his whatever.
Yeah. They
game.
drove down the last 30 seconds to get a field goal.
But the Lions are a team that we have come to know that keeps a lot of receipts. So you got the Bills coming back in here at home again. I don't know if they're going to lose that game. But Josh Allen has been playing amazing this year. He's an MVP candidate as well. If there was one team I would pick them to lose, it would probably be to this team, only because Josh Allen can beat you with his legs, and he has a receiver now in Amari Cooper. So,
well, Michael says in the chat, look up the end results of the 15-1 teams, please. I don't need to, because you're saying that, so that's probably not good. So you're saying that you want to lose at least 2 games.
Every team's built different, though.
That's the thing, right? Like, what do we talk here about Big D a lot, more than anything? The eyeball test, right? Like, the eyeball test, the vibe test. Spenny, we've sat through years and years of watch parties and stuff. It's a different beast. It's just like the progress. Like, to me, I don't think this team gets caught sleeping.
Not sure.
No.
And the other thing you always, bro, here's what you always hear. You know, you got to lose a game just before the playoffs so you get that hunger again.
No.
I don't think that applies to this team.
No, they don't get complacent. That's not the story with them.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
No, I don't either. And you want to continue to play. Although it like you said, the way that the NFL works too, it's in there somewhere, but it doesn't really have to be. And the biggest concern, like, is anybody else here, is the fact that, like, it's just home field. Home field. First round bye, home field for the playoffs. That is what has been the goal during the offseason and stuff like this. But the fact that where you're at now, that's the goal at hand. So
that could be an advantage, because I don't care if you're home or not. The playoff game is going to be tough. Mm-hmm. It's going to come down to a few plays here. So that crowd, that energy could be just that edge that you need to beat somebody. I mean, last year, the Rams game was tough. The Tampa Bay game was tough.
Yeah.
These games were not easy last year.
They weren't.
They won them, and maybe that home field played a role.
They absolutely did. If that Rams game was at L.A., they probably lose that game. Just being
Well,
honest.
there wouldn't be anyone in the stands.
Well,
It would be
a fact.
full of Lion fans there.
Yeah, we travel well.
Ford Field West.
We travel well.
The Rams don't have fans.
Spenny, you brought up a great point right before the show about Za'Darius Smith.
Yeah.
And about this would have been his bye week. So I want to talk about this for a little bit, because when you're talking about a lot of different things, and this goes into bringing a new guy in, but bringing a veteran in and stuff like this. So break it down with pretty much. This would have been his bye week, correct?
This would have been his bye week. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns are on bye this week, so obviously he got traded to the Lions. He doesn't get a bye week this year. But Dan Campbell told him he doesn't have to report to Detroit or with the team until Friday. Mm-hmm. So he still hasn't been in. He gave him the week off. You know, this is a veteran. This guy's been around. He trusts him to be able to be ready to go, see quarterback, hit quarterback. And Dan Campbell said you don't got to come until Friday.
So that tells me a lot of different things, right? And as a veteran already, he will be ready to play.
Absolutely.
But he will probably be spotted in on those third downs, and we're just going to see he's going to have one job: see quarterback, hit quarterback, right through this first game as they get it. I love this as thinking of a veteran guy and having this is having a man-to-man conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's and realizing that this tells me Za'Darius Smith is that type of veteran. He is that type of dog, as Amon-Ra St. Brown's. What's his brother's name again?
Equanimous.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they call him EQ. They call him EQ.
You know, he hates the Lions.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But
He's
he
jealous
should,
because he want to
we
be
own
here.
his ass.
He want to be here deep down.
You know that.
That's
he
why
does.
he been hating this year.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you a lot
the
about
jobless brother pissed off at the one that's cooking.
Yeah, you that just tells you so much, Terry, about the character of the guy that's coming in, the professionalism of the guy that's coming in. To me, I was trying to think back. Is this not like adding Zeitler on the offense?
Yeah.
This is like adding the Zeitler of the defense, veteran guy that's been around.
Well, let's put a little plus at the end of it too. It's just a little bit
little
more.
plus?
Yes, because the edge rusher can be so disruptive in the National Football League. I think this is more of what Dan Campbell is all about. He knows veterans know what to do. He knows how to rush a passer. Veterans need some time off.
Yes.
And he needs these days to go to Florida, or the Caribbean, or whatever he's going, or just to chill in his lounge chair. That means so much, that mental break that you need during the bye week.
Yeah.
And so he's going to say, just chill out, come in Friday, maybe we'll have dinner, and you can go to Greek Town or something, have a good time, but then be ready on Sunday. I think this is just a very smart move for a guy who's going to come into a situation. He knows what his job is. His job is to put pressure on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. There's not too many times where the Lions have gotten a proven commodity, and I think that's what's being slept on in this Za'Darius
Give yourself
Smith.
a ding dong.
I got
kid.
you, big dog. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, get yourself one.
Normally, when we go get a player,
Pedigreed.
It's like a rookie or somebody that's coming off injury, or it's a role player that we're hoping to get a little bit more out of. Za'Darius Smith has had 3 double-digit sack seasons. He's somebody that's been a force in this league for quite a while. He's still productive. He's not the same player that he was, but you can count on him. And that's something that the Lions have been lacking from this defense for so long, because they've built it through having young players and young pieces. But now you get a proven veteran that you can rely on, somebody that's not really injury-prone like that, knock on wood, and that's going to come in here and he's going to contribute.
I brought it up yesterday,
Right.
Terry, about what I really like too about Za'Darius Smith. He's a NFC North veteran. Played in Minnesota, played in Green Bay, knows what it's all about.
And was a pain in the ass in this division.
Pain in the ass,
time.
right?
Long time.
Absolutely. So that's got to play into it too, does it not? In bringing a guy like that home, like and I know like in hockey. And maybe it's the same too, like in basketball. There's a little extra, right? Like, and not only that, the teams in your division know what you got. They've had that experience with this player already. Like I said, EQ already explained it. He's a dog as a teammate. He's, this and that, great guy in the locker room. So they know what the Detroit Lions even more so. How does that play psychologically along too, because he's played for some of these teams that we have to play against and go through in our division?
Yeah, well, they know him, but he knows them also. And I think psychologically for a guy like this, it's like, okay, I'm in a position where I can win a ring. So Bears, Vikings, Packers, it's going to be rough for you because I'm going to take care of this because I know what I'm here for. I'm a hired gun, and so I'm going to just start slinging it. So, I've always been told this about the NFL. Worry about your division. Get somebody who's going to disrupt your division. Get someone that the people in your division have to game plan for. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Don't worry about Buffalo, and don't worry about New Orleans. Don't worry about any of these other teams. Make sure you got a team that can win the majority of those 6 games you have in your division. And that's exactly what the Lions have. Now, he doesn't have to worry about the Rams. He doesn't have to worry about Tampa because they've already played them. But a good percentage of what he's going to be asked to do is going to be against teams in his division.
Have you looked at what this means not only now, but when Aiden Hutchinson comes back, if he does come back at the end of this year, but into next year, with having is this the great? Do you like the compliment for next year to add to with the Za'Darius Smith on one side and Aiden Hutchinson on the other side to be as effective?
Yeah, absolutely. Because one thing, we expect Aiden Hutchinson to be what he was when he returned, what he was this year when he returns. He may not be. We don't know that. We don't know.
Right.
Maybe a few games that leg might bother him. He may lose a step.
He might just take his time getting back into the flow.
Okay, I got to chill out. I want to make sure that I have a long career. So we don't know exactly what he's going to be when he returns. Now, if he's close to the Aiden Hutchinson that we're used to, and then you got Smith on the other side, damn.
That's tough.
Lions going to be
with DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil in the middle. Like that's
and you know what?
That's tough.
I tell you what, Aleem McNeil has been a monster this year. Mm-hmm. He is just taking people, moving them aside, and just bull rushing folks. So then you get that cohesiveness, and you get a training camp for Za'Darius Smith. Get Hutch back.
Oh my God!
You brought up a great point right there, right? When you brought up about Aleem McNeil. And who has been sort of, you look at, they brought in DJ Reader. So the guys they're bringing in, Terry, are not only to dominate this North Division, right? But also, too, they make guys around them better. True veterans, right? You can't say that Aleem McNeil hasn't, sponged off of DJ Reader. You add Za'Darius Smith into that defense, 2 practices going to the future. It makes guys a lot better. You remember the way, and I'm sure it was the same way, in practice with the Pistons, but I mean, I make the joke all the time, why the grind line was so good is because we never touched it in practice. We never touched the puck in practice. We were chasing the Russians and everybody else around. So by the time we got into the game, it was a lot easier.
Right.
It's the same sort of thing, right? It rubs off. And not only the professionalism, stuff like this, I think you nailed it there. They focus on this division because they're built for the North. They're like a North team.
Right.
Right? The way the pounding, the way the physicality all over the place. So they keep adding guys, to Kenny's point, that are tenured. Right? Now we're adding tenured guys with stats and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Right. You only need them for a couple
Sky's
years.
the limit. Anyways, I haven't seen in the chat. I know a lot of people are talking about the hockey. We're going to get to hockey in the second half and stuff like this. But where is the loss? Terry Foster asked you people out there on the schedule, where is it?
No,
is it
two, bro. 2.
He actually said, where are the 2?
Really
I'm only asking for 1.
It might be 1 if
Terry
we let it.
obviously wants a little bit extra.
I don't think it's 2.
Well, if you want to, make sure you're dialed in and you can read that schedule to find a loss, you might need to wake up a little bit. You can wake up with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Ooh. Delicious coffee delivered right to your door, locally sourced specialty coffee. Subscribe at SabbathCoffeeRoasters.com. Make sure you tap in now. Use code word Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Make sure you get it while you can.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Shop.woodwardsports.com. If you want the best merch in the game, that's where you need to go. You've got the Boo Them Kids shirts, you got the Stoke Not Scared shirts, whatever you need, shop.woodwardsports.com.
Player feel like he fits us. We'll bring something that we feel like complements the other players in that room. He's going to play the run. He can get an edge still. He finishes on the football. He's tough. Violent player, and so we're excited to have him. He'll be good for us. But yeah, I can't tell you the number of calls and inquiries that there are, and the bottom line is it's hard to find a pass rusher, especially in the season. Most teams aren't going to give them up. They don't care what you say, which is smart. And there's lessons learned. Brad and I were talking about. There's always lessons learned. We learned them in 21, 22, 23, 24, and as many of those guys as you can have, it helps because that's just, injuries happen, and we happen to get hit at one position worse than anywhere else.
There's the whole Big D energy here, Woodward. Listen to Coach Dan Campbell talk about the trade deadline and about going into it. And for any of you that weren't concerned, he just told you right there that there's a lot of calls made. So I'm sure they kick the tires on everybody. And the biggest thing that I love to hear from your head coach or from anybody is, we learned lessons along the way. What did we learn from the past? And I always go back to Dan Campbell saying in 2021, I realized I got to prepare like every starter on my team is going to go down. And the fact is how they even listening, did anybody get the vibe off him that it was even harder? Like, it doesn't seem at the end of the day to get the deal done, but like there's a lot of work in those phones that goes into it and stuff like that.
Because we heard last year they were calling about Daniil Hunter from the Vikings. This year we hear they're calling about Crosby, they're calling about Garrett and stuff like that. And Dan Campbell said it himself, teams aren't willing to give up edge rushers like that because they're so important.
Edge rushers to the Super Bowl loading team.
Another thing, nobody wants to help the Detroit Lions. Because I know people say, well, why don't they just sign this guy, get this guy? Teams want to improve their team, but they know the Detroit Lions are a Super Bowl caliber team. They don't want to make them better. They want to make it as difficult as possible. So you can't. I heard people say, why didn't they add 2 edge rushers? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, lucky you got your one. Take them and keep your fingers crossed.
And he wasn't going to compromise the franchise either. Like, we're not acting out of a place of desperation. It's cool that we were able to get Za'Darius Smith, but what are the reports that we heard? They wanted a 4th. We gave him a 5th in the next year, 6th, and told him to get the hell on. Like, Brad Holmes is in the driver's seat when it comes to, managing what this team has and making sure that we still have our future as well.
That's the great thing too, Kenny, because the thing that you always hear out of Dan Campbell's mouth is the trust that they have in each other, right? And that true partnership to make that team better, So, everybody on the same page, and it's just to the fact that it lets you know that they did everything that they needed to do, and I'm sure it came down to, hey, Spenny, to your point. We missed out on Danielle Hunter last year, but this is where we're willing to go, and it didn't work out. But this year, this is what we're willing to do, and hopefully it'll work out. A couple of people in the chat. Harry's World says the next loss will be next preseason. Michael says Buffalo and San Francisco are as close as you'll get to a loss.
Yeah. I don't even know about that San Fran.
Don't sleep on those division games. Like, I know we're better than these teams, and I know we beat the Vikings and the Packers in their house already. But division games are always tough, man. These teams come ready to play. They know you. They've played you a lot. Even Chicago, it's always tougher to beat a team in your division. We do got to go to Chicago on the road, in December. So those division games are the ones. If they slip up, I could see it being
40 mile an hour snowstorm off of Lake Michigan at Soldier Field, and
we an indoor team, so we don't fare well outside.
Okay,
just saying.
Okay, Jared.
Thanks, Jared. In a couple years, Chicago's going to be an indoor team too.
Right? Why you playing?
One of the things that is everybody excited about or whatever, but J-Mo gets paroled this week. Be back in the game plans.
He free. My boy free.
He's free and stuff like that.
Yes, J-Mo's back.
Everybody excited about that. Excited about him back in the line. Like,
yeah, I got a video of him talking about. It's from Eric Woodward, the ESPN reporter for the Lions. Yeah, shout out, friend of the network. J-Mo talking about Dan Campbell believing in him and backing him, and like what that meant to him.
Let's hear it.
Been through a lot, playing under him, and we've been through we bumped heads in certain situations, but now I see that he's faith in me, and he understands what happened and things like that. So it's big to me, him having faith in me and being along with me in those situations.
Jamie, so I asked Dan this. What do you learn from having to sit out the last 2 weeks? What does that sort of teach you?
What have I learned? Just to be smarter, I guess, move smarter, be a bigger person in certain situations and things like that. So I would say those would be the main two things.
Is there anything that you can address about the suspension itself? What happened? How did it happen? Why you decided not to fight?
I don't really want to address those type of things. It's all on the internet and things like that. So I figure people already have their own type of view and stuff like that. But I'm gonna just stay away from talking about those things.
That's Jameson Williams talking about what he did during his suspension, but also too relationship with Dan Campbell and belief in him. Terry, what is the most important thing that Jameson Williams does for the rest of the year, maybe into his career?
Stay out of the newspaper,
right?
Except on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I think this is real important. I think he's a fragile personality. And the fact that Dan Campbell is showing him love, still believes in him, when we've had people all along the way to give up on this dude.
Yeah.
Stop it. He's too much of a distraction. But when you look at what he's done, it's all been minor stuff.
It has. And I wanted to ask you what you meant by fragile personality, though.
I think he's a guy that if you start turning on him, and I'm talking about the coaches, then you might lose him.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by fragile personality. But if you showing him love, he will give you everything he's got.
And here's the one thing that I take is that Dan Campbell and this team will show him love when they see the effort. And yes, we will all agree, maybe not some of the best, most mature decisions and stuff like this, but you got caught up in it, so you got to self-evaluate and do what it is. The biggest thing from that, and I could probably say I've been not in the legal, but I've had those conversations with coaches and been in the office and stuff. And the biggest thing is that when you realize that you're letting down, like the way this team is built, what I always say about when the guy next to you is more important, it's got to be apparent to J-Mo, because to some of us human beings, we can torture ourselves as much as possible. We can take whatever else, and then we'll decide when we're going to deal with it. But if your mentality is don't do that to someone I love or my teammate or whatever like that goes for your self-destruction, right? If you're self-destructing and you don't realize, you think you're just hurting yourself. But when it comes to the apparentness that you're part of the herd and you're hurting me, you're hurting this guy, that's when it usually clicks. The beauty, like you said, Terry, is all these minor things. These are all things that I'm sure a lot of us have run into to whatever else. It's about being mature and responsible. I agree that he's got to, get better in that aspect? Yes. Right? We all do. He's still a young kid. Look at him. He looks like a baby, for Christ's sake. It's unbelievable that kid runs so fast.
Let's look at the picture from 30,000 feet. Whose ass has he kicked? What woman has he thrown down a flight of stairs?
Thank you.
No, it's all.
What DUI has he done where he's rammed his car into a pole?
He hasn't.
We haven't seen any of that. What he's done was, he got injured at Alabama, not his fault.
Yep.
He picked up his cell phone in a hotel room and bet
on college basketball.
Right.
It is what it is. And the gun charge is probably the most serious thing he's done, but it was a legal gun. Like, it'd be different if it wasn't registered.
He wasn't even driving.
Exactly.
Wasn't even his car.
Was he speeding? No, his brother was.
Yeah.
Free J-Mo's back.
I absolutely, but to the point, Terry, of what you said, and that's okay because it's all different. You know what? Like, would you concur to go to Kenny? Would you compare it to a fragile person like Jameson Williams? Would you say Sergei Fedorov in our locker room might be?
He reminds me of him.
Would he be the same? Where you need, and what was it? Because it's the love of the rest of us, right? To show him and to nurture him, and a lot of times, like I always tell this story, right? This blows me away because Sergei Fedorov wasn't one of those guys. Like he would be like, "Hey Sergey," we'd be like, "A little bit of help here." Oh guys, you need my help? No, you guys are so good. Like not facetiously, like I'd be saying, and he'd be like, "No, but you guys are great. It's so you don't need me. No, we need you." Oh, okay, Cape. Boom, let's go.
Right.
Like it was one of those things is that you when you told him like that he was needed, that it was different. It wasn't an ego thing. It wasn't self. So I see a lot of that, and you call it fragile or whatever. I see a lot of like that Sergei Fedorov, the talent to whatever, but that's where Dan Campbell comes in the locker room, where you see the nurtures it, and sometimes what a great example to put your arm around and say, screw the rest of it. This is our guy. Dan Campbell's really stood by this kid, and I respect that out of him.
Yeah, and one thing I can stand by is where to get a great workout, and that's at Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness, the home of the judgment-free zone. You can go work out. They got a friendly, knowledgeable staff and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. I got back today. It's my favorite day of the week because when I do those reverse grip pull-downs, Terry, I look like a monster. Make sure you tap in Woodward Sports at Planet Fitness. We do shows there all the time. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone. You can get the black card like me and get use of amenities like hydro massage, total body enhancement, and access to over 2,500 locations. To join, go in club or online at planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, D-Mac.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
$1,800 Tequila is a proud partner of the Detroit Lions and the official tequila of the Woodward Sports Lions Lions watch party and post game show. Make sure you come out. They got the Lions themed bottles that should be in stores now. Get them while you can. 1800 tequila, the smoothest tasted tequila. Please drink responsibly.
Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Thanks for everybody for joining. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster in for Neil Rule. I believe Neil will be back tomorrow.
Yes.
KG, Spenmo, Rax here. We were just talking about Jameson Williams being back this week. Excited how Dan Campbell stuck with them, stuff like this. I made the small analogy because Terry mentioned a word that he sees Jameson Williams as a little bit fragile, but not in the bad way, but the fact that you need to support around him.
Right.
And I use the analogy.
Show him some love.
Show him some love, like Sergei Fedorov back in the day. Well, what a great way to segue into a little bit of hockey talk.
Damn right.
To the top of the hour. I think we've exhausted. We'll still talk football if you want, but we've exhausted a lot of that. Wings with a big win last night.
Yes.
On the road in Chicago. During a 4-1 win. 3-1 empty netters, stuff like this. I mean, I'm happy they won.
Yeah. It was a team they were supposed to beat, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, you
got to beat the Blackhawks.
You got to get through those, and the team they're supposed to play and beat and stuff like. I can't get by the shots on net.
Yeah.
And the lack of shots on net or whatever. And I forget whoever in the chat was going off earlier. The fact about the dump and chase don't work and whatever they're trying to do.
It's tough to watch, man, because when they're only scoring on breakaways and sloppy goals. That's the only way. And, like, you got to get the sloppy goals. You got to get the tip-ins like Veleno had. You had a breakaway for Larkin where he's just like, okay, I'm the best player on the ice right now. I'm going to go score a goal. I have yet to see them just dominate offensively for a period all year. They don't get in the zone and set up their offense. It looks so bad. Even in wins,
I think they had that one period. Maybe I don't know if it was against Winnipeg or Calgary where they looked good in the second period.
Yeah.
But I watch games and I'm like, man, these dudes are getting rolled.
They are.
Yeah. And I looked up and said, how's it 1-1?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. We're talking about the eyeball test. Yeah, and shout out to Cam Talbot and Alex Lyon and being able to get it done. It's just like looking back and try to put a finger on what it is. It's almost like last year at the end of the season and the last month and stuff like this. They got into this groove and it was like fast hockey and it was attacking and it was in waves and then you just feel that momentum and you could watch it and feel it. There's nothing like that live or anything else. It just seems like it's always like stop and go and trying to play more of a, I don't know, lack of a better term, a playoff style.
Yeah.
Prevent style, right? And to me, the biggest, and I don't know what it is, but the biggest thing that shocked me was at the game on Saturday night. I think in the first period, they might have had like 6 shots on net, which is, not acceptable. But they had like 8 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dude, so it's not even, it's so mundane right now. It's like, guys, forget the shots on net. How about the shot attempts?
Yeah.
Like, let's get them blocked first, because at least we're throwing it to the net.
Right.
It's just, there's just a miss. Now, in saying that, Lucas Raymond's got 1 goal.
Yeah.
But he's got a point a game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What he's struggling. Right? Like, for him, this is the longest we've seen him not score for the player that he is. But what he's doing is he's showing you that step where not getting frustrated but still being impactful. Right? That top line. Dylan Larkin is their best player night after night. But no, it seems like there's no help. I like the solidified, like the Veleno, Rasmussen, Fisher, or Kopp, whoever they put out as the checking line. That's the line, Spenny, that can play that boring, dump it in, lock it down, bang it. The rest of them, where is the creativeness?
Yeah,
you gotta play faster on off when you've got, because you have high-level talent offensively. You do. You've got Lucas Raymond. You've got Larkin. You've got Patrick Kane. You've got Tarasenko. Like, you need to let these guys go out there and be the players they are. It's bad to watch. It's ugly to watch. And I saw people talking about Sherratt and Petrie being a step slow, and that's true. And that interference call that Gustafsson had last night was one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, you have a 3-on-2 break, kind of. He dropped it off to Berggren and then just runs into the guy in front of him and pushes him into the net. Like, dude, what are you doing? Get out of the fucking way and let the guy make a shot. It's just ugly hockey out there. Like I said, they're only scoring on breakaways and ugly tip or rebound goals. Their offense is stagnant. Their defense is non-existent outside of Seider and Edvinsson. They're lucky that Talbot and Lyon have been so good, or they'd be losing 5-2 every night.
Yeah, he's right. This can't. We always use the word is this sustainable? The Wings are sort of a 500 team. This is not sustainable.
No. Over
the course of an 82-game season. At some point, you're going to lose six or seven, and you're going to get into that stretch where you're going to knock yourself out of the playoff contention. This can't continue.
Well, see, there's two ways to look at it, right? And here's why it's a difference, right? Like, look, we started out the show talking Pistons, and it's sort of on the one optimistic side, positive side of okay, look at they're going some way. It's not about wins and losses, but look at the way that they're playing. It's the same thing here, right? The opposite way too. The fact that you've kept yourself at 500, which means you haven't shot yourself in the foot. Like, but my question is. And I'm hearing it from everybody in here, and I'm reading it in the chat too, is that people don't think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Like, you don't see an out to this, right? The out to playing younger guys. Chuck Brewer brought up. It's either the players or the system, right? So is it one of these things that it is more of the system, and is it something that where people are calling for Lalonde? And let me make one thing perfectly clear, like, by the ways, because somebody brought it up earlier, and I don't take ill effect to it or anything, but Derek Lalonde will be gone 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 before Steve Yzerman.
That is a fact.
So
Everybody
can we just understand that? But now, Terry, you've been around for a lot of different sports in this town, and the coaching changes, whatever. Are we at that point where this could be something where you're looking into the coach, and is the coach starting to be the issue because of the system?
I think so. A lot of times I don't believe in changing coaches in the middle of the season, but it seems to work in the NHL for whatever reason. So, I would give this maybe into the new year, and then I would really look at what's going on there, and maybe he's not the guy, because I don't see the effort that should be there. I don't see the belief. Do these players really believe in him? Is his message resonating to them? I don't think it is, but I would still give it a little bit more time.
Yeah, what do you think, Terry? Because what are we, 12 games in?
Yeah, it's
12 games. Is it a 20-game thing? Is it a 2-3 more week thing? Is it a day end of November? Is it a Thanksgiving thing? Is it a Christmas thing?
It's not a number of game thing to me. It's a calendar thing.
It is.
Mid-January, I'm looking to see what I see, and if I don't like what I see by mid-January,
okay, so where does this team have to be mid-January then? That's the question. Where do you guys want to see this team mid-January to make this, what makes them safe? In the playoffs, 5 games ahead?
A little bit over 500. And in the playoff position, 6, 7, 8, 9, I can deal with that.
So is it more this is where it comes to, is it more the record or the eye test? Because the eye test, these guys are 3-10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you can't get a good record until the eye test is fine.
We got a little bit of breaking news.
Like breaking or cracked egg breaking?
Cracked egg breaking.
Okay.
But it could
the yolk.
It could play play a factor in the Lions. The Ravens are waiving defensive end Yannick Ngakoue.
Oh.
And they're looking to re-sign him in their practice squad should he clear waivers.
Now, Spenny, all right, good hockey talk, boys. Now to football. Spenny, give me a small breakdown on this player. Is it somebody you like? Is it somebody that, like, remember how, so to this point, when I said yesterday or the day before of adding somebody off somebody else's practice squad, this sort of, this sort of adds into it, right? Because he's a free agent. They could go after him.
Yeah, this is a guy they can go after. He's not what he used to be, that's for sure. But, like, last year he had 4 sacks in a couple games for the Bears. He had 9.5 sacks and 22 for the Colts. This guy is not a complete pass rusher. He's not a complete edge, but he gets to the quarterback. And he would be a great addition for the Detroit Lions.
Terry, do we need these complete guys, or is this where we're at right now as far as Dan Campbell saying, look at how effective we are at a certain position? You lost Kaminsky, you lost Hutchinson, you got guys going down left and right. Is this the type of guy that would fit, as long as it's preface one to get into this thing is you have to get by the doorman and Brad Holmes.
I have a phrase for this. Milk him.
Yeah.
Milk him. He wouldn't be a bad guy to sign for the rest of the season and then get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah,
don't need him after that.
That's exactly what it would be.
So just milk him.
And,
he could be a rental, yeah.
IT Hip says the Lions are 31st in waivers, so they're probably not going to get him. If he falls, the Ravens are saying they want to add him back if he clears waivers. So he's not going to clear waivers if he gets to the Lions, but hopefully he falls that far. Let's go to break, though. We'll come back. We'll talk some more Detroit sports. But first, let me tell you about second best bar. It's the best bar in Detroit, if you ask me, at 42 Watson Street in Detroit.
Central Giant.
That boy good. The best chicken sandwich in Detroit. I'll put it up there with no free sponsors. I like it better than Penny Red's. I think it's the best chicken sandwich in Detroit. Go try it for yourself and you be the judge. Obviously, they got the Tullamore Dew and a ton of other great drinks on deck. It's a great place to watch a game. It's a great place to go get a couple drinks pregame before you go to a game. Second best bar downtown. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you go check it out. It's second best bar. Come get some.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. Exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Ave, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. LesStanford.com, Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Vroom, vroom. Big the energy here on a Thursday. Dipping into November. I love it. Terry Foster.
Super Bowl Wilson in the Woodward Sports chat says, Yannick is a bum, Spenny. This isn't Madden 19. Yeah, we got a team full of bums outside of 3 guys at the defensive end. He's better at getting to the quarterback than Uku or Isaiah Thomas.
That's a fact.
Guys going down, milk them, you got it.
Right.
That type of show. I like that.
Obviously, he's not a
Wagner.
superstar. Right. He wouldn't be getting waived if he was a superstar.
You don't need... Is that not at the point where we're at right now? We're sitting here, we talked about... Terry asked, pick me 2. He wants 2 losses left on the schedule because the biggest Lions fans on him at 14-3. I say give me 1 loss. Let's go to the national pundits, guys. because I don't know if you know this or not, all around the league, they're bathing in the butter of Lions. The entire ESPN
Shout out
panel
Kimberly Martin.
picked the Lions to make the Super Bowl, obviously. Like, Terry, you're the one who's followed this team the longest and been around this team the longest and watched this team. Is this sort of surreal? To have the national, the way that, because it's usually the disrespect.
Yeah, but if you're good, the national media will say that you're good. Now, I understand what you're saying. Is it surreal because I've seen the Lions be so pathetic? But they're real. This is not the Detroit Lions. This is like a different organization. So it's not surreal to me. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Sheila Hamp, they have transformed this franchise to a one I don't recognize. So that's why it's not surreal to me. Because if, people always say, why come people disrespect the Lions so much? Because they sucked.
Yeah.
Now that you're good, people are saying you have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So that's all up to the franchise to let us know what you are, and then we will tell you, or ESPN will tell you what you're capable of.
What do you guys think? Is it something new for you guys even too? Do you take it as like, are they allowed to say it? Is there a contingent out there that's like, get off my jock?
It's a little stigma with the national media because for so long, we were bad and we didn't deserve to be talked about, but they will also talk down on us as well. So that was never really, something I was really a fan of. And a lot of these people that are so-called Lions fans now, you have no choice because we are the best team in the NFL. You have no choice but to talk about us now. But like Terry said, when you play well and you do what the Lions do, and it's not just a flash in the pan. It's not just a 2011 playoff appearance where you lose to the Saints, a 2014 appearance where you lose to the Cowboys, a 2017 appearance where you get dusted in the first round by the Seahawks. This is a legitimate team, and they are going to be around for a while. And I think the national media has picked up on that, and they've ran with it.
And I know some of these guys. We've had conversations in the past. And basically what they said, yes, your Lions suck, but we kind of root for them. We kind of hope for this franchise, for this city, for a variety of reasons. People in the national media who we think always hated the Lions, rooted for them, hope that it would change some way, somehow.
Some of them. But some of them were kicking us while we was down.
So
let's just be real about it.
But deservedly.
Yeah. Terry, are the Detroit Lions America's team? Have they taken over the Cowboys? Does this make them...
Cowboys still have a team? I didn't know they still playing.
They might as well.
They're
going to
get waxed this week, too.
Pack it up.
No, but I mean, is this lead along the lines of what we said to Terry's point or whatever, of the Detroit Lions are the new America's team?
Yeah, I said this last year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
this is a team that when you look at nationally, you like this team. You like Dan Campbell.
Yep.
You like the way they play.
What's not to like?
They got a little flavor to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think this is America's team. In addition to Detroit's team.
Well, I don't think they want to be America's team though.
Nah?
Yeah, they keep getting that label. I think they just want to be them. I think they just want to be the Lions.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
They want to be the best Lions team they can be. So it's cool we get the national love, but you can tell they not reading their own press clippings. They don't really care about all the fanfare and shit like that. Dan Campbell literally goes out on a limb and says, hey, this is going to happen when we win. We got to keep ourselves grounded because when you are the popular kid in school, shit changes,
Yeah, that's the whole thing. IT Hips. I live in West Palm Beach, and people always make a comment when they see my Detroit Lions tire cover on my Bronco. Small flex there. Even a cop stopped me and freaked me out. But no, it is. I think because everybody, the Lions have never won. So I mean, it's like the Lions are a great second team for everybody right now.
Yeah.
Right. If their first team's not winning, they can all go cheer for the Lions. Kenny, you brought up a great point, Terry, because I don't see that. Like we mentioned complacency. We don't see the fact of being motivated, the fact that it is. I don't think they care.
They're not motivated by this.
They
the
absolutely
national media,
not. They're in their own world, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like I look at it like the Mongolian dynasty or Alexander the Great. They're just conquering.
There you go.
Where they go, and it's it's how they initiate, and they make everybody react to them.
literally just taking it one game at a time. It's an old cliche, and I hate hearing it, but it's so true. And I think that's what they do.
I'm trying to, this is a good question, Spenny brought up in the show sheet about how do you stay on focus and dominant. Now, I would think that I might have some room to talk about this with the teams that I played on, and the power, whatever. And there is a certain dominance level or staying hot. Now the biggest thing, right, obviously is staying healthy and you want to be playing well into the playoffs and all that stuff. But there's a mentality. I think Terry brought up the best point, and I didn't look at it that way, but they built this team for the North. They didn't worry about the rest. Like, they'll worry about getting the rest of it. And, got to San Francisco and figured out, okay, we need to improve that defense, and went out and did that. Yeah. But the way that the backbone of this team is, as Neil always says, we're going to push you this way and we're going to push you this way, right? Obviously, we're working on pushing this way, but that's where the defense is solidified. Offensively, we've got to do it that way. So for me back in the day, our focus and how we stayed focused was because we did it with 80 games and 5 game segments, right? Where all you had to do is focus on winning those segments, winning 3 out of 5 games, 4 to 5 games, taking care of the old adage was, if you went 500 on the road and won 70, 3 out of 4 games at home, dude, that's where it was. So it's breaking it down, and what do I mean by that? It means it's breaking it down to what's the goal of the day. Now in the NFL, there's only 17 games and everything else, so the focus and the battle and the war, so to speak, every week is the most important thing to everybody in that locker room.
Yeah. No, true, but the Lions can't win 3 out of 5 games. They got to win. Every game is a must-win.
Yeah.
Because the division is so tough. And the goal is so high. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. So when you want to win a Super Bowl, you can't win every game, but the goal has got to be to win every game. You can't lose.
Yeah.
Because somebody will get you, and then they'll get the number 1 seed, and then you're fighting and scrambling from that point forward. So I think what you had to do as a professional athlete was tougher, because as far as focusing on one game, because you could play a game on Tuesday and you're on a plane that night, and sometimes you may not know where you're going next. So it's hard to just take that one game at a time mentality. But the NFL, you play every week, once a week. So I think it's easier for them to focus on one game at a time, and that's exactly what they're doing.
And they are.
Mm-hmm.
Have they not proven that?
Yeah.
I mean, these last, from going into Minnesota, going into Dallas, going into Green Bay,
Neil said all the time, every game is in a vacuum, man. You see that with the Lions. They don't carry over momentum from one game to the next. They don't carry over anything bad that happens from one game to the next. They focus on that week in particular and prepare accordingly. And it's worked so far, man, because they only had one loss. And the one loss they had, they completely dominated that game. They just let it get away from them. So...
And
kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
Spetty, you just put a stat up in the chat thread that, what's his name again?
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yes. 25.5 sacks in the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, he had in 2021 he had 10 sacks. In
milk this
2022 he had 9.5 sacks. Last year he had 4.5 sacks. Like, he is on the decline. I'm not saying this guy's not, but if you're sitting there telling me that Isaiah Thomas or Ukwu is a better option than him, you flat out don't know ball. Like, he's got 1.5 sacks already this year. That's 1.5 more sacks than Houston, Ukwu, and Isaiah Thomas combined. Like, what are we doing here?
What
It's a fact.
What are we doing here, Smitty?
What shit smells worse, maybe at this point, but this guy is, if he can get you 3 sacks on the season, that's better than 0.
And to piggyback on Spinny's point, when you're getting into that point where you're about to go into the playoffs, it's an arms race. Like, that's why the trade deadline was like how we saw it, and it's becoming more like, a basketball trade deadline or, in hockey, because it's an arms race. You want to have as many bodies that can contribute as you can going into those deep stretches, because in the playoffs, it's a different animal, man. And we've seen what we look like when you're down a lot of things in the playoffs. Like, yes, we got to the NFC Championship, but you saw how it ended.
Yeah.
So,
right. Like, if you sign him for the rest of the year, he has 3 sacks. That's a win.
Yeah, the L.A. Rams. We also, they had Matthew Stafford, but Aaron Donald made some critical plays at the right time during the playoffs.
Yep.
So,
and who they add? They added OBJ. They added Von Miller. You know, they like I said, it's an arms race. It's about having as many people as you can contribute to winning football, because this shit is hard. Once you get into them cold months, this playoffs is a different animal.
Yeah, I doubt he makes it through waivers to the Lions, but if they do, I'd love to grab him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
But and this is
costs you nothing.
Yeah,
and
literally nothing.
He's a guy who can sack the quarterback.
And how many of these guys are out there?
Not a lot.
It's not a lot.
Okay.
It's like I said, he's nobody's sitting here saying he's prime J.J. Watt, you know. But if you sign him for the remaining 9 games and he gets 3 sacks, that is an overwhelming W.
Does anybody not think that this guy was on the block and nobody would give a 7th for him? You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like, you know what I mean? What makes you cut a guy 2 days after, put him on waivers 2 days after that you couldn't move him?
Right. Pretty much.
You know, contract or stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, we listened to Dan Campbell's press conference earlier, and when you realize how many guys have gone down on that defensive line and whatever like this. So bodies is, you know, like you said, anybody that we can milk. Like, to me, Isaiah Thomas has already proven the worth by recovering a fumble.
Yeah.
I mean, like little things like that. If he picks up a sack or makes a big tackle, these are the little plays, like you said, about, you know, Aaron Donald defense, not an Aaron Donald type, but it's about making plays. And that's what this defense does, makes plays.
It does, because in today's NFL, you don't stop opposing offenses, really. They don't go 3 and out. They don't get 1 or 2 first downs and then punt for the most part. What you got to do, you got to take the ball away from them, or you got to stop them on 4th down. So, which is very, very hard to do. So that's why on defense, if you don't have playmakers, like if you just have a bunch of solid football players, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have playmakers, dudes who are taking the ball away, ball hawking somebody, harassing the quarterback, getting a sack. So now, instead of trying to move the ball on 1st and 10, you got to move the ball on 2nd and 25 or 2nd and 22. That's where you stop opposing offenses. That's why the edge rusher is so important.
Yeah, and what else is important is making sure you start your game day off right with that man, Terry Foster, and Matthew Broder, Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Woodward and Maine. And then you got the pregame show, a little different this week. The pregame show will be live at Hayes Social right before the game. So come out there, have fun. Neil and Sean will be down there. Presented by New Holland Brewing Company, Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet. New Holland Brewing Company, Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Automotive. Make sure you check out Woodward and Maine in the morning. And then the pregame show. During home games, we're at second best. But away games, we normally do them in the studio. This week, they're going to be at Hayes Social right before the game, so come check it out.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall to wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza now has signature wings. Limited time offer, get them while you can. 7 different flavors. My favorite is the spicy garlic. You can try them all and choose your favorite. Go to Sorokis.com to find a Soroki's near you.
Big D Energy here. Woodward Sports Network. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, KG in the TD booth. Spenmo Racks ripping it up over there. Steve-O Baby said DMAC can Detroit Lions be America's team. They haven't won a Super Bowl. You know what? You bring up a great point. If those are your rules, then no, they can't.
Okay, well, the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in like a million years.
But they've won one.
Yeah.
Right? So my point is, okay, it's either they win the Super Bowl and then become that. I can go with that. So maybe the Detroit Lions are America's second favorite team.
Or how about this?
Like everybody's second favorite team is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that.
If they're not your first, they're your second.
But who the F cares about being America's team? I just want to be the best team in football.
There you go.
But you know who's been America's team before? The Chicago Cubs, because they were so lovable and they were losers. And people felt sorry for their fans. You don't need a Super Bowl to be America's team. You need to be a team that America likes, that America roots for, that America is down with. And I think the Lions are that. And
more
I think,
so than any other team right now?
Let's look at the teams. Kansas City, I think people getting Kansas City fatigue because they've won it 2 years in a row. So
because they can play like dog shit and win.
And they're not playing great football. They're winning.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens. Okay, great defense and Lamar Jackson and a great running game, but are people getting behind them? Is there something special about that team?
There's something that they don't. It's almost like Buffalo, where they're the imposters. And I know Baltimore has won one, but even this Lamar version of the MVPs, but can't get over the edge, so people don't commit to that. But they are, a great team, but have to prove that worth. Right?
There's got to be something different about you. It's got to be something like...
I think for the Lions...
Stop. Shut your mouth. Look at the fact that the networks want the Lions now. They want them on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday football. That's a reason right there. And the only reason they want them is because the people in the NFL, fans want to see them.
Yeah. They're an exciting
Maybe
watch.
It's more of Dan Campbell's America's coach than it is, the Americans. Like, everybody loves this guy.
After they clowned him and called him a meathead and a wrestler.
Kenny, bring up that point, too.
Right.
Because I guarantee 1,000,000% that man, Dan Campbell, has not forgot, and he has taken receipts.
You damn right.
But he's a subtle. And the way that he will get his revenge or his payback or whatever to make the universe equal will be on his terms.
Real G's move in silence. We know that.
Wow, spitting facts, spitting facts.
Just like lasagna.
Just like lasagna, moving in silence all throughout the system.
Shout out Wayne.
One of the things you brought up about this defense, right, is this defense at this point, and we haven't said this really in the past, but it has sort of developed its own reputation. Right? To what you said you need to win in this league, is this not the epitome of what this defense is? They may give it up between the 20s, right? But at any given time, the way that they attack the ball, the way that they can put the ball on the ground, the way that they can ball hawk the ball, intercept it, and plus their stats in the red zone as a defense, not only taking the ball away, right, but also stopping it and limiting other teams to what? 3 points.
Yeah, everybody's kicking field goals against these guys.
And
they're giving up yards, but they're not giving up points.
That's when you. But isn't that the epitome? Like, have we not? When we're talking about SOL or whatever like this. Yeah. When you look at that game the other day and the way Green Bay was like, I think we're starting as a fan base to come into comfortability that this is the way it is. Oh yeah, he might rip one off here. He may complete one here. You look at the stat lines of that game. You look at you don't know the score. You'd be going, Green Bay They had to, you know
Green
what I mean,
Bay
by
was
the yardage.
Green Bay was looking like the same old Lions on that Sunday because they were the ones making
Stupid
mistakes.
plays.
Yeah,
They look like the dome team.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Right.
Alex Smith told me that weather was built for the Green Bay Packers. They would have the advantage. Sorry, Alex Smith. You must forgot we got Sonic and Knuckles.
So what does that say? Like the pit, like, and it just always goes back, Terry. And I'm continuing to think of where are those 2 losses, and the rest of the schedule coming. Right, because now you're building a rep. Now, does this defense not have a reputation for other offensive coordinators?
How about Thanksgiving?
This ain't the receiver get right game no more. This ain't last year.
Dude, what did I say the other day? Like against Tennessee, I was like, you're going to shut down this guy, this guy, and this guy. You're going to let Calvin Ridley be that guy. Right? And he was that. But to my point, you might give up a 100-yard receiver in the first half. But you're not, at the end of the day, he's going to have whatever that stats, and you're going to be winning the game. You're blowing him out. And it's like,
Right.
Dude,
this is awesome.
They almost gave up a 100-yard rusher in the first half.
I know.
And he didn't get 100 yards.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm mad he got 90.
How about that?
I'm a
Can we
little
just
mad about
touch
that.
on that, Terry? Maybe that's the one thing, because that's the one thing that I've noticed, which has changed in the evolution of this team, is their halftime adjustments. Right? Is the same as the way that they've adjusted things at halftime, not only for their offense, but also on their defense. Right? And have I not watched that in the last 3-4 games, or coming in as we watch this offense come into its own and be the game breaker? The adjustments at halftime, to me, have.
See, I think they're making adjustments on the fly, because you may see halftime adjustments, but I see they've already made that adjustment, and so it's harder for other teams before halftime. But then when you look at the stats, it's like they have a bunch of first half stats, but the Lions are already on lockdown mid-second quarter or late second quarter, so they're making their adjustments right there on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great call, Terry, because you know what? That's one of the things is okay, if we're going to have to weather sort of any of the storms, it's been early. It's been the first quarter, but there has been some adjustment made in the second quarter.
But you know what happens a lot of times? You get, first of all, we know everybody wants to beat the Lions. So you get that burst of emotion. So that's why we see the Lions get behind early in games, because other teams, their whole focus, we're going to kick the Lions' ass this game, because that's what they do. So they come out on fire, but then at a certain point, emotion wears off, and then it's just who's the best football players? Who has the best team out here? That's who's going to take over. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of the Lions games, because the emotions wear off, and now you just got to play football.
Yeah, that Minnesota game is a perfect example of that. You spotted the Minnesota Vikings 10 points, and then what happens? 21 unanswered in the second quarter, and they never looked back after that. They never looked back.
No, it's just reading some of the chats, everybody sort of agreed. Jay Thomas, halftime adjustments aren't real. You always adjust on the fly, right? What are big halftime adjustments?
I think,
or is it, Terry? Or is that a misnomer? Is it the great teams adjust as the game goes on?
I think halftime adjustments is overrated, because you really don't have that much time at halftime, and I've been in the locker room before, and a lot of it is just dudes talking to each other. What did you see on this play? I saw this. Well, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. And the coach may have 4 or 5 minutes to say something, and then you're gone. So there's really not an adjustment. But what happens during the game, they got their little those aren't iPads. What are those things? They got the little
Surface Pro.
Yeah, little Surface Pros. They're looking at that. So they're making adjustments there on the fly, and it doesn't always stick right away, but after a couple series it hits, and then that's when the adjustment is starting to kick in.
And you know what it is? It's what we're seeing right now, and the ability to do that goes all throughout. I believe having ex-pros as coaches, having guys that they trust each other throughout. If you're doing a job for this team, this organization, you're trusted to do that job. So your information and the way that they are able to adjust, or like it's not like they don't see it coming, right? Like they're ready to prepare if something's not working. It doesn't play out for a bunch of series. They seem to be able to nip it in the bud and stop it there.
Right. Or, the Lions aren't the only ones making adjustments or change. So when the Lions go into a game, they have already game planned, but somebody can throw in a different wrinkle, and you're like, oh, you're caught by surprise a little bit. But how do you counter that move?
Well, think about that. Think of all our wrinkles this year, all our little special, like other, and the one that got called back. What was it, Sewell's that almost got in, motion or something like that. But the fact that the trick plays that our team throws at the other teams to the success. So, it just solidifies the fact of everybody in that organization, from the coaches to the coordinators to everybody else, clicking on the same page.
Right.
And that's it. So the adjustments that are made earlier, that's a sign to how the success of this team.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way, dude. Everybody remember, it took these guys a minute to get into the season.
A year and a half. Oh, you
Right.
talking about this year? But yeah.
I'm talking this
those
year.
first two games were preseason games.
Yeah. It didn't know what it is. So I'm still looking to see if anybody, where are those 2 losses for Terry Foster on this schedule. It doesn't seem like you're going to have it. Tell me about Mark White, Spenny.
I will, because if you're looking to buy or sell your home, Mark White should be your only choice. He can save you up to $5,000 to your closing costs. Just call him at 248-290-8242 or visit him at markwhitesells.com. Again, he'll save you up to $5,000 to your closing costs. Mark White should be your only choice.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or any other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine of KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10 plus years of experience with 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Terry Foster in for Neil Rule. He'll be back tomorrow, coming back from Boise, Idaho. Wonder if he brought us some potatoes.
He probably didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Spenny, KG, I'm D-Mac. One of the things, too, we're talking about, the ad and guys talking about the Lions and the roster, too. One of the things I think that slipped underneath, but it didn't get by our boy Spenmo Rax, who is no liar. By the way, Wilson,
right.
He is not a liar.
You are crazy.
Stop that
here.
blasphemy.
Motherfucker's lying on my
or you
name.
will be exited from this chat.
You a dog, Spin.
Stop.
We fuck with you.
It's
Okay?
sad.
Stop.
Yeah, Neil lied to me about Black Santa.
Yeah, he
did.
did. Neil be lying.
Now, Wilson, if you talking Neil lying, fair enough. Spenny, no lie.
I'm a man
Anyways,
of honor.
Spenny, the IR list.
Yes.
Very interesting. Why? Because a couple names were removed off of long-term, were they not?
Yeah, Ife Melifonwu and Emmanuel Mosley both opened up their 21-day window to return. So they got 21 days to figure out if they can play or not. If they can't, they have to be put on season-ending IR.
So what does this mean? Because obviously, if you were on the IR, this has got to mean that these guys might be effective, because you're not going to take them off.
Yeah.
Right now, do you expect it? And wouldn't this be bonuses? I know you're a big Iffy fan, Spenny, when he's healthy, and practically like, gosh, Emmanuel Mosley. It's been such a tragic story. Injured every time he steps out on the field. Hopefully he can get back out. But is this just not one of those things that we've been talking about the whole time? Is if you can get some of these guys back and being effective and adding to the cause, they did, as Terry says, milk them.
Yeah.
Right? Milk them. Is this not a situation?
Especially the way that Aaron Glenn used Ife Melifonwu last year, where he was sacking the quarterback a lot. Bringing that guy in, obviously you're not going to play him over Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph because they're both all pros, but having him, maybe you use him as like a hybrid Trevor Nowaski role where you can play that Sam, but more off the line, not hand in the dirt, and blitz the quarterback when he needs to. And depth. Like, you look what happened last week. Brian Branch gets ejected. You got Ife Melifonwu who could step up. I'd be more confident in that than Brandon Joseph, personally.
What do you make of it, Terry? Is this just one of these things that's, hey, great for it, but it doesn't matter?
You got dudes who can play. They've already contributed to the Lions winning before. And so if they come back, great. You got that depth. You can rotate people in. It makes you tougher. If they don't, hey, see you next year.
All right. Or not.
Well, it's next man up, right?
Yeah.
It's next man up. Spenny, why I like
Except
that.
for Hutch, it's not next man up.
No. Absolutely. Well, and there's only Penei Sewell the same way. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of those standard stellar guys like this, but it just let's just take a moment. We're here. We're in it.
Yes.
We are as in it, Terry, as we can be in it. Are we in it the most in it that you've been in your life?
It's the most in it they have been in the Super Bowl era.
Ever, yes.
Right from
because
Terry
even in
Foster's
1991, they had to play the Washington Redskins, who mollywopped them in the regular season and was a team that was going to go to the Super Bowl that year. I mean, you could have had a hurricane wipe the whole team out. They were still going to find a way to go there. So there was no shot for the Lions to go there, even and when they made the NFC Championship game, which technically was 1992. I know it was for the 91 season, so I call it 91. They had no shot then. This team has the most, let's say, the most lottery balls in the little thing that's going around. They have the best chance of going to the Super Bowl than anybody else in the NFC.
No,
it creams in your mouth a little bit.
Hey, you know what?
Terry
great segment. Get your we got Uncle Terry here to ask Terry segment for the last one. But I wanted to ask Terry this: as far as this game on Sunday, and we broke it down a little bit about our thoughts, but want to get your thoughts on how does this game against the Texans, being an 8:00 game, Peacock, whatever matters, doesn't matter. How does it play out? Because me, from watching, and yes, I like C.J. Stroud as a quarterback, proved a lot of things, but I think this is the game that he's going to be running even more so for his life. They can't protect him to save their life. This has got to be a game where we're effective and we continue to make that offensive line
but don't be so cocky, young man. The Lions still have a problem with running quarterbacks. When they run, they're going to get yards. So once again, we'll probably see Houston in the red zone a lot. That's when you really have to shut him down there, because I think he's going to get his. But he's not having the season this year that he did last year.
Because of that offensive line, he's been sacked a whole lot
most in the league. And if you watch any of the games, he's so good because he's running for his life. He looked like what he looks like is in their losses too is like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl with no offensive line.
Yeah,
right. As good as he is. So they just that's the imperativeness about the pressure, the imperativeness about, hey, Dan Campbell saying, Za'Darius Smith, I know you're coming in, bro, but don't show up till Friday. Take your time off. I'm going to need you to be hunting the quarterback this weekend. What about Spenny Nico Collins? Looks like he might be playing. Are we worried about, the receivers at the beginning of the year? That was a big point of contest. Or are we worried about this game at all?
No. I mean, you got to give a little bit of worry because Joe Mixon's been playing very well. You know what C.J. Stroud is, even though he's not having the best season. They still have weapons out there, and they got a good pass rush with guys like Danielle Hunter and what's his name from Alabama? I always forget his name. Will Anderson.
Yeah.
So you got to obviously they're still good teams, so you got to give them your best. You can't overlook them, but no, the Lions should win this game for sure.
Yeah, I think one thing we have to look out for, teams are running the ball a little bit better against the Lions these last couple games than they have early in the season. They're breaking off some 9 and 10 yard runs where before it was 2 yards, 3 yards, get the hell off the field. So you got to be careful about that. There's something going on, and maybe it's not having Hutch. I don't know what it is, but teams are running the ball, and they're not running it great, but they're getting a little bit more traction than they did earlier in the season, and for last season also.
Well, if anybody wants to watch this Lions versus Texans game or whatever you're going to do after you enjoy a wonderful Sunday, where can you go, Spenny? We got festivities galore.
Festivities galore live at Hayes Social this weekend for the Lions and the Texans. The watch party, the pregame show, the postgame show, all going to be there. Make sure you tap in. It's a lot of fun. You can come out and join us. Hayes Social, presented by New Holland Brewing, Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza, and 1800 Tequila. Come out and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
New Holland Brewing Company and their taller long drink. They know what they're doing. It's delicious. It's a grapefruit puree and gin cocktail. Make sure you go check it out. You can find them at a Total Wine near you. Taller long drink from New Holland Brewing Company. It's the best in the game.
Long drink.
All right, final segment, Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Terry Foster in for Neil Rule, Spenmo Rocks, KG D-Mac here doing a Ask Terry segment. We're going to come right out with it. Steve-O Baby, Ask Terry. Terry Foster, can the Michigan Wolverines be saved?
Hell no.
Saved.
Whatever. What does saved mean?
Yes, but it's going to take a while. First of all, I think Jim Harbaugh left him in the lurch, took all his coaches, and then, a bunch of players left. So, yeah, you got this thing called the NIL. You got the transfer portal. So, yeah, you can be saved. But what you're going to have to do is you need an aggressive coach who's going to have to step outside of the traditional Michigan thinking. He's going to have to recruit guys. He's going to have to get guys from Nebraska and Wisconsin or wherever they want to go. So Michigan has to step out of its comfort zone. Yes, it can easily be saved. It's still a very good brand. People want to play there. So, yeah, you can be saved.
I'm hearing good things about the Bryce Underwood move as well. So.
You are hearing good things?
Yeah.
As far as...
It's looking good. It's looking like it's a good chance they can land him. They came up with a competitive NIL package to try to recruit him. He's the #1 high school quarterback recruit in the country. So I hope they get it done, man, because they got it.
I saw him play for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Tell me about him. Tell me what you thought.
He's very talented. He didn't pass much. He was running.
Yeah, he's athletic.
Yeah.
Like him.
He's
very
elusive.
But he's not Alex Orji, though, because I know that's probably where your mind goes. I think he's a little bit better passing the football than Alex Orji.
No, he can pass. He just didn't pass that game I saw him play in.
Yeah.
So Terry, if they were to, would this answer the save if they sign that Underwood, get the number one quarterback recruit? Would this can be considered being saved?
Yes, because now they would have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback on the roster.
Yeah.
Not one.
And isn't that just blow your mind?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But you know what? For years, Michigan existed without a kicker, and then they had quarterbacks who ran the option, but you can't do that anymore. The game has changed. You got to get guys who are fleet of foot but can also pass that pill too.
Spenny, I'd like to turn it over to you and ask you a question because I will not be in tomorrow and stuff. Have you looked at any of the prop bets for this weekend, and are you leaning? I know that in the chat thread somebody said JMO over 80 yards or something like that. That had to be plus money a lot.
Yeah.
Do you like anything right now leading in that game?
I don't know if the numbers are out yet. They normally wait until late Thursday, Friday to put out lines for people, but if I'm doing what I'm going to go JMO.
Because you're hot.
Yeah.
Why do I bring this up to anybody who's not following Spenmo Racks with his parlays and his listen, you're not eating peanut butter and jelly for lunch.
No.
These days, I saw some salmon fillet on top of that Caesar salad yesterday.
Yeah, I've been having a good year so far for Lions bets, that's for sure. I'd go JMO in this game. I don't know what his line's at. I'm assuming when they put it out, it'll probably be like 60, somewhere around there, 61.5, something like that. I would go JMO because I think they're going to make a considered effort to get him the ball, get him feeling good again, get him back in the offense. I'll go over JMO yards and a JMO touchdown.
Do you agree with that, Terry, as far as this?
I can see that, but they can also go another week where they show we don't really need you and we can exist without you. Yeah, we'll give you your touches and everything, but you're not going to get 100 yards or 80 yards or something like that.
And David Montgomery didn't score a touchdown last week. That's the first time in like 8 weeks that's happened. So I would put a lot of money on David Montgomery to score a touchdown this week.
What are we thinking final? Do we have any? We thought about that?
I haven't really thought about it yet.
We putting a 30 burger on these guys too?
I'd still wait to see how the injury report looks because Will Anderson's up in the air, Nico Collins up in the air. Yeah, if everybody's healthy, if Will Anderson and Nico Collins are playing, I would say like 24-17 Lions.
Okay.
I give it 35-24, but I know we're not doing official predictions yet. But the Lions, they're gonna be able to put up some points.
Yeah, they've only scored under 30 like twice this year.
It doesn't matter who people put against it. If you look at the Lions this year, and when they pass the ball, people are wide open a lot of times. When you see the running game and there's gaping holes and they get hit 4 or 5 yards down the road, a lot of times to me it's not all the time that you're overpowering somebody. I think schematically the Lions are tricking people. Yeah. They don't know what's coming next. They don't know how it's coming, but it's coming.
You got a game plan for so much. I mean, you got two of the best backs in the league. You got a great tight end. You have a great receiving core. It's just hard to game plan for that each and every week. You don't know who's going to get it.
Terry, did you see Bill Belichick when they asked him? And he was quoted saying, "I don't see anybody stopping this Detroit offense."
Yeah.
Because of what the weapons that
it's a
they
how
have.
do you want it offense? If you try to stop something in this offense, they're going to kill you with something else.
It's almost like you got to guess who. Okay, there's 6 options. I'm going to focus on these 2 and hope I'm right.
Yeah.
And then right, what's Ben Johnson do? Oh, I'm going to triple flea flicker to one of my running backs, and they're going to make it. Oh, maybe my wide receiver, he might make the pass. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, wait till 4th down. I'll let Jack Fox, my second best player on the team,
Yeah.
he'll fin one out there. Oh no, I'll just snap it short on, from my own 25 to my up back, and he can run it for first. Like,
right.
How do you want it, Texas? Because we're gonna give it to you. You guys are.
Jack Fox is kicking the dome. He might kick a 85-yard punt.
That's facts.
This year.
The Lions,
Sunday.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, the Lions tried a trick play in that Packer game that didn't work. So
it did not work.
Over under on trick plays 1.5.
I'm gonna go under. They're gonna be conventional.
They got one. They always got.
They always got one. They always got one.
You
said 1.5, right?
He's that kid. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't just.
They in a dome, so I'm
just
saying.
one.
Please.
All right. Thanks for joining us here. Neil will be back tomorrow for Spenmo Rocks KG. Uncle Terry Foster. Remember, it's Santa
ask
season.
Neil how
folks.
you tried to trick me with the Black Santa thing.
Yeah, man.
What are you talking
that's
about?
crazy.
Oh, Neil? Well, you guys will have to bring it up to him. You can say, hey, Neil, you got heat with T-Foss.
That's right. You tried to make me think you're hanging out in the hood, bro.
Have a
T-Foss
great
gonna make a
day,
call to
Deuces. Big
delegation.
D Energy. See ya.
Yeah.